I made this song for any man that's committed infidelity.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host, guests, and callers who are responsible for their content and do not reflect the opinions of In Touch Radio or its staff.
Gotta stay woke.
Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay. Welcome to another phenomenal episode of the Stay Woke Show. I'm DR.Michelle Williams with Walter Dunn III, and we have a very, very hot guest that's in our, not only is she beautiful, her bio just super precedes her today. It's just phenomenal. We are honored to have in the studio with us today attorney Danielle Hernandez. Welcome, Danielle, to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be
Walter,
here.
how you feeling today?
You know, the people have asked. You know, all the emails, all the Facebook messages we get, social media messages we get for women empowerment. And, you know, looking at the lineup, you know, the trajectory of where we've been going, city council, judge. Now we have Ms. Hernandez on our show. We are honored to have her on our show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
She has her fingerprints all over the Tampa Bay community. And it's just somebody that we felt collectively that we had to have on the show. Somebody who could give us a different perspective of some of the things that we know are happening in our community. Mm-hmm. And she can shed light on it from a legal perspective, from a keep it real perspective, and also the things that she does behind the scenes. So, you know, she comes with a stellar resume. I don't know if we're going to find somebody better to interview on our show.
Exactly.
With a 3-page resume. But we're grateful to have her on our show.
And she provided it in Spanish, too.
Right. And, you know, she does radio herself. You know, she got the Spanish channel. I almost introduced her in Spanish, you know, just to say, hey, I got this part down packed. But, you know, Ms. Hernandez, we are definitely honored to have you on our show today. You know, we want to make sure that we put people, women who are empowered in our community on this show so they can speak truth. They can give insight to some of the things that need to be targeted. And we feel that you can do that. And one of the biggest things for you guys who don't know her, she specializes in immigration. There are a lot of families in the community, in the Tampa Bay community, that have a loved one at home who, you know, may be over here for a visa, for a work permit with education, or may have legal issues and trying to make sure that their loved ones don't get deported. Mm-hmm. This is the person who you will want taking up that battle. We want to ask her right off the bat, can you please tell us some of the major concerns that are happening in our community for immigration?
Well, good morning.
Okay,
that was
good morning.
Such a stellar introduction. Okay, I'm going to come back and be a regular. I like this. So I think the first thing I'd say is immigration touches everybody's lives in one way or another. Mm-hmm. And it's something that's a big part of the Tampa Bay community. It's the reason I decided to go private. I didn't have to go be a private attorney. It's one of the reasons that I also host a Spanish language first radio show, because I feel like it's important to educate, do exactly what you're doing in the Spanish-speaking community, right? Mm-hmm. So I need people to know what's going on with the city council. I need people to know what's going on with politics. I need them to understand why this matters. Even though you're an immigrant, what they're doing in city council impacts your day-to-day more than the federal government does, right? So there are a lot of issues. I'll get that right down to it. One of the first ones that people have started calling me and are stressed out about are the local government, local Florida government, very anti-immigrant laws that are about to hit, become actual laws in the state of Florida.
Right.
So I have people calling me stressed out, like, hey, what does this mean to my work? Am I still going to be allowed to work even though they don't have a work permit? I need to go get a driver's license. I have driver's licenses from out of the state. I have organizations that help migrant communities, and we're all kind of triaging and figuring out what this is going to look like and kind of getting ready to see what is going to happen. So just as a summary, there are a couple of laws that Ron DeSantis has proposed that are coming down the pike here in Florida. And because we have a majority Republican chamber parties at the moment, they're most likely going to be passed. 2 or 3 of the ones that are most notable and really concerning is the aiding and abetting. It's going to be a felony to harbor, help any type of illegal immigrant or someone that you know or should know is an illegal immigrant.
Let me stop her there and interject. This is a very important point for our community facing immigration. There's possibly going to be a law that's going to be passed that says if you have somebody living in your household who is not a U.S. resident, you may be charged criminally for doing so.
With a felony.
With a probably a 3rd-degree felony, punishable up to 5 years. You guys know I know the law. So
yes, you do.
Yeah. Be mindful of that. So before we can get down there to that road, we need to seek counsel, representation, somebody who can safeguard your family, because under no circumstances do we want households to be divided and separated, and dads and moms being separated from their children because they're doing the American dream, trying to work hard. They're already over here. So I already the Wet Sand Act with 1 foot on, and I could go into a whole different show about that.
Right,
but
right.
if they're here, we need to go ahead and continue to make them a citizen and let them be productive for their families. But just want to interject that it's possible a law is going to get passed that if you have a immigrant who is not a U.S. resident living in your household, you could be charged criminally.
And so this also, it continues to organizations that are, so he's targeting one of the most cruel parts of this, which is really sad. There are nonprofit organizations that help relocate migrant children to come alone. So are we talking about kids here? It's nebulous on purpose, because I feel like they're going to target who they want to enforce this towards, right? So we have that. We have a proposition to take away a Republican passed act. Rick Scott in the past decided to allow the Dreamers, the kids that came in through no fault of their own, their parents brought them in. What Rick Scott did was he allowed them to be able to pay Florida-based tuition, just like any Florida resident. Now, Ron DeSantis wants to take this away because he says it's not fair. And I'm like, that's interesting. Rick Scott, who actually said not too long ago that he thinks that should still stand, implemented this. So he wants to take the tuition away from the DACA Dreamers, who are completely stressed out about this. I spoke to a panel of 2-3 weeks ago. DACA students who are here paying, doing what they can because they don't qualify for financial aid. Some of them don't have a work permit. So they're doing what they can to, get an education, the greatest equalizer. Mm-hmm. So we have that. And then I believe there is something also on the books about not allowing out-of-state driver's licenses. So right now you can't have a Florida license. So.
Well, let me just say this to everyone. Danielle is just not an attorney. Danielle has the legal credentials to say what she says, to talk what she talks, to walk the way she walks, and to have her actions precede her in this walk. Let me just give you a little bit of her bio. And I was most impressive when I read that you went to FAMU.
I'm a rapper.
So Danielle first started out at DVH Law Group, PLLC, in January 2021. And after practicing law over 2 years in Shoemaker, Loop, and Kendrick in Tampa, Florida, DVH Law Group currently has offices in Tampa and Washington, D.C., where she represents clients in humanitarian and family-based immigration cases before the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration Courts, and the Department of State. Danielle has worked in public and private sectors that has given her a distinct perspective on a wide range of topics, from public policy to courtroom, and her passion for the community has led her to become a very active fixture in the Tampa Bay community. She has also a weekly immigration show where I want you guys to start tuning into this, because I have all of my Latinos. Look, Clovis, California, you all are watching. I reached out to my Mexican family and friends up there in Clovis, California. So her show is called La Maga. It's on 101.1 FM, where she maintains the Latino community on immigration matters, updates, community events, everything that's going on here locally and statewide in the state of Florida. She has also worked as the Assistant Chief Counsel for the Department of Homeland Security. And Danielle, that says a lot about you, because when I was reading this bio, if Walter hadn't given me your picture, I would have thought that you were in your 50s like me. And people still don't believe that I'm closer to 60 than I am 50.
You look beautiful. Great.
So I'm just like, I don't understand it. So when I seen this beautiful picture, I'm just like, wait a minute, what is she, 12? She got all these credentials. I got all these credentials.
I started at 12.
So look, then she went on to work hundreds of cases on behalf of the federal government. She has also worked as a political analyst for the federal government, covering political and leadership updates for the U.S. policymakers on matters in Western Europe. And thank you for that, because that means a lot, because, you know, people don't understand, you know, my family goes all the way back to Europe, London, Germany. So I'm there, and I got cousins that live in Germany, and I'm just like, when y'all coming to the United States? We're not.
We don't want to.
So you have, like I said, you went to FAMU, you have your practice here, you have your radio program, you sit on these different panels. You're also, you are the president of the Tampa Bay Latin Chamber.
The president. The president. This is who we have in the studio. So you can't get no further than this. You have questions, you want to be represented by the Latin community?
Call me.
Call her.
Yes, exactly.
Facebook, Instagram, email.
Not only this, Danielle, right here in the last line.
I know this caught me. I mean,
listen, Danielle serves in the Florida Bar's grievance committee for the 13th Judicial Circuit in Hillsborough County.
Let me break that down. If you got a lawyer right now and a public defender, a lawyer, any of those with a Florida bar number, and they're not doing their job, file the call her. She'll probably tell you how to file the grievance.
Yes.
Be able to look over it, see if they have any merit to it, see if the guys do it. Listen, you know, you guys can call me offline. You know how I feel about attorneys. So she's on the grievance panel. Like, if you have an issue about attorney, like I told you in the beginning of the show.
It's the first thing I educate my Spanish-speaking clients. I'm like, you don't have to just take it. You don't have to take being robbed. You know, I'm going to put this in quote, robbed, having money taken away, or having an injustice by an attorney. And this is unacceptable. Let me show you the proper channels to try to fix that. So,
Danielle, let me just say this. What Walter brought up something. So when he talked about the aiding and abetting, and you broke it down. But what Governor Ron DeSantis did just 3 days ago, he put out a statewide notification to every physician in the state of Florida. I even got it, even though I'm a holistic doctor. I even got the email that says that if we have an immigrant that comes in, that they have created a special database for doctors to put in Hispanics information so they can run their names and information through ISIS. And you know, in the state of Florida, there's only 18 holistic doctors, and I became number 18.
well, congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm the only black.
I love that even
And I'm
more.
the only black. And so when we were talking amongst ourselves, we created a Zoom, and we were talking amongst ourselves, and we just like, what do we do with this information? Like, this has to be the lowest of the low. But again, what I see former President Donald Trump do, and what I'm seeing Ron DeSantis do, hopeful as a presidential candidate in 2024, he has stirred up the bottom of the cauldron. He stirred up the bottom of the melting pot, and he is like literally dividing this country. And we're already so divided. He's on this anti-woke mob mentality, telling people, you know, he's upset that, you know, that we as, you know, black and brown people, we have had a coming to Jesus moment where we know who we are, and we know our stance in America.
And I guess it's scary to him.
And I'm trying to figure out that, and I'm just calling a spade. Blacks were the original slaves in America. Then I see it go down to the Mexican. That's hurtful. But if you look at it, Danielle and Walter, the Mexicans do so much for this country.
So much.
They do. I've seen some of the best come from the gutter and build a house in less than 90 days.
You know,
And now you're targeting these people. but they're good enough to build your home. They're good enough to go and pick our fruits and vegetables.
fields,
they're good enough to go to plow the fields, just as we were, but we will never be treated as equal. And when I say we, I'm talking about the black and browns. We will never be treated as equals. And you know, it is this precedence fight of who stays in control, while white America is trying to remain in control of a system that they created only to benefit them, because they know that America knows that if they say, well, boys and girls, you know what, we lost the Civil War, but that's okay, because Robert E. Lee, we still want your statues all over America.
Let's bring back the flags, right?
Walter and I just talked about this, the monuments, the Confederate flag that grows, that blows every day out there on on the I-4 corridor. You know, it's just ridiculous that how they want to hold on to something that is a falsehood of America. And I'm just tired of being sick and tired on top of being sick and tired on top of being sick and tired. That's why when Walter told me that, you know, he wanted to talk to you about being our guest on today's show, and then he shot me your background, and I'm just like, Walter, you know, it's Walter's being at the right place at the right moments that's able to have guests like you. And last Saturday, the Honorable Judge Miriam on our show, like, people are still talking about it. It was like, do you know you and Walter was sitting right next to her? I'm just like, well, if y'all think that that's something,
wait till you see this one.
And wait till you see the moves that are being made,
so
you know.
excited.
And I'm just, again, thank you, Danielle, for taking this time out. And she brought her beautiful son with us that she talked about in her bio. And you know, not only you look like me, so this is good that, you know, women empowerment, because I remember when I was in college and I was in Virginia.
Oh, wow.
By myself.
Oh, wow.
And pregnant. And hiding the pregnancy from my mama, and then came home, gave birth, then finished at USF, and then said, you know what, that wasn't enough. So not only do I have my master's degree in business management and corporate law, not only did I become a certified licensed therapist, not only did I just become a doctor of naturopathic medicine, not only am I a human rights activist appointed by President Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not done yet.
No, we're just getting started.
I'm not done yet, because my daughter is in her 30s.
Oh.
My son is getting ready to be 29. And I don't want my grandchildren, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, and 6 months old. I refuse to allow my grandchildren to have the same conversation and the same fight that their grandmother is having in the 21st century.
I love that. What better motivation?
So I'm not that. So we, you know, this right here, this panel, Walt, you know, ran something by me, and we gonna keep putting it on the air because we want you to be a part of it. Walt threw an idea. Man, he's like, Michelle, look, sis, we got to have a panel. We got to have a huge panel discussion where we have the right people saying the right thing, and we're all saying the right same message. That look, justice needs to happen now.
Yes. And you know, justice is being aware, raising your voice, doing what I do. Because people are like, why are you everywhere? Are you running for office? No. But I can, because a lot of my mentors are like, well, if you have the opportunity, take it, use it. And part of the thing is like, well, aren't you scared? I'm like, yeah, I'm a single mom, 100% single mom. I take my 5-year-old with me everywhere. First generation to go to school, first generation to be American, first generation I have to take loans because we know education is the biggest equalizer. So, you know, the first way they try to keep you down is to give you these predatory, high interest loans that I took out anyway because I said, you know, I know where I'm headed, so it's not going to stop me. But you know, the interest keeps growing. Someone's going to pay it. I don't know. But at every step of my life, you feel the obstacles, you feel the blocks. And I didn't say it in the bio because I try to keep it PC, but I did work for the intelligence community. I had top secret clearance, and I was the only Latina in my whole unit. And it was me and one other girl.
Nicole, I mean, Danielle, let me just go ahead and put this on here, you know. So I had to run out with the FBI. They had me listed as the 43rd most extreme activist in the nation. And I'm just like, why would y'all put such a target on my back like that? And then I had the FBI agents laughing. I was just like, well, y'all got me listed as number 43. What do I have to do to be number 43?
Who is in front
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
Listen, if you want to weigh in, please give us a call, 813-444-9588.
Yes,
you can have
call
the
in.
opportunity to speak to Mrs. Hernandez, ask her any questions, especially those for immigration. We are going to a break right now, but once again, please give us a call, 813-444-9588. Stay woke. We'll be right back.
Gotta stay woke. Listen up. To DR.Michelle Williams and
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for ya. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
gotta stay woke. Listen up. To DR.Michelle Williams and Walter Dunn show. Stay woke. Listen up. To DR.Michelle Williams and Walter Dunn show. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke.
Welcome back, Tampa Bay community. We have the Honorable Danielle Hernandez on our show this morning. I'm your host, Walter Dunn, with Michelle Williams. If you want to give us a call, please give us a call, 813-444-9588. We have the one and only on our show. And I want to say this before we took our break. I didn't get a chance to say this to our community. If you have a daughter out there, you know, that you want her to go in the right direction. She may be a teenager. She may be a first-year college student. And you want her to emulate somebody, to have a true role model. This would be a woman I would ask my daughter to follow.
That's so kind.
Somebody who's educated, somebody who's ambitious, somebody who doesn't follow the status quo, makes her own lane. You know, this is somebody that I think all young women should follow because she doesn't take no for an answer. You know, there's been obstacles that's been thrown in her path since she, you know, moved from Miami, and she's exceeded every single step. And now she's here in our Tampa Bay community, serving our population to the best of her ability. And she does so much for our population. So I just want to say live on air to all the people who are watching in our Tampa Bay community, all our Facebook followers, social media followers, that I'm extremely proud of her.
Thank
for
you.
what she's able to do for our community, because there's a lot of people.
Go Danielle.
There's a lot of people that she services or does the networking. You know, I don't have a list of her calendar, but I know for a fact next Saturday on the 29th, she will be at the Free to Speech held at the Tampa Bay Prep High School from, I want to say it's from 11 to 2. She will
Yes.
be a
Panelist.
panelist where she'll be able to speak. I will be a vendor there. I'll be there selling my books. I put a
Come get
thing
a
on
copy
my
of Walt's
right.
book.
I
Come
put on my
copy-
social media. Come meet the author. So I'll be
Yes.
selling my books out there. But we are just so proud of what she does for our community. To know that she was appointed to the president of the Tampa Bay Latin community by the mayor.
Oh, for the mayor, she appointed me to she has a little commission called the Equal Business Opportunity Advisory Council. It's a mouthful.
I need to figure out how I can get my foot in that door.
So we certify small businesses to have the small business. So we have the women, small business, and different certifications that can help you get sometimes special projects. The county has the same. So part of our goal is to push it and help get people certified, and that's all in itself. That's already a hurdle, because there's a lot of obstacles to people that don't speak English, or people that we have to walk them through the steps of getting this certification so that maybe you can get a city contract, or so that maybe you can be certified to fill a void.
We said this off air. We'll make sure we bring this conversation on air very soon. Next weekend, she will be holding a pro bono legal fair for anybody who has criminal, family, driver's license, DUI, anything that you
Family
need,
law.
tickets.
Tickets.
You can't pay for an attorney. They're having a pro bono
event. So next Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Stetson Law Campus in downtown Tampa. That's 1700 North Tampa Street. You're welcome to show up, and we have with the Tampa Hispanic Bar Association and with the North Tampa Bar Association, literally a whole cadre of attorneys that are ready to answer any questions that you may have on a pro bono, which means a free basis. We made sure that it is a safe environment, so you don't have to worry, because one of the concerns I had, well, people have some criminal issues. Do they really want to come show up? Yes, it's going to be okay.
They don't want to show up and get
They want
booked.
to show up. I get that. I was very sensitive to that. So we have the tax collector there with any driver license issues, the Hillsborough County Clerk of Court. And then at Michelle's suggestion, which I highly agree, we're going to look to host this at a different venue, somewhere more accessible and in different parts of town, just to make sure everyone can be serviced. But this is a completely free event, voluntary attorneys. So if you know anyone, send them out our way. You can just show up. You don't need an appointment.
Danielle, let me say this. I just can't say thank you enough. Like it's spoken in the Old Testament, if I had 10,000 tongues, it still wouldn't be enough.
Oh, that's
because
so sweet.
of everything that you're doing to ensure that justice rolls down like that mighty Hamlet, like Dr. King says. And we have to get back to some of Dr. King's speeches and his words, because Dr. King and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey, Rosa Parks, Medgar Evers, they gave the blueprint, and it was carbon copy, but we've refused to take it. When Dr. King died, we have to tell the truth. When Dr. King died, the civil rights movement died with him, because there were so many people that were looking to be poverty pimps, aka Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and a few more, and they were looking to, take up the reins. But I'm happy that it didn't happen at that moment. In 2017, Danielle, I commissioned the Florida Bar to allow me to start a legal referral service. And when I do things, it is basically, I'm putting my blood from my middle finger to say, look, this is stamped with Michelle Williams' signature on it. And it was attorney Monica Bible. I'll never forget that lady as long as I have breath in my body. It was Monica Bible who stood up in front of that Florida Bar Committee and says, I don't give a damn if she is a felon. This right here is what this state needs. And this right here, if we don't uphold this, what she's written out in these 31 and a half pages of what she wants lawyers to do in the state of Florida, why did we all become attorneys? They asked me to step out of the room. They said they were going to, we were going to convene for just a few minutes, about 30-minute break. It took them 3 minutes to bring me back in after they said we were going to take a 30-minute break and say, we've all signed off.
Love it.
We've also, I'm the owner of the Shell Criminal and Social Justice Referral Network. I have over 2,800 lawyers that's in my database right now, ranging from a plethora all over the state of Florida. It is 106,000 attorneys in the state of Florida registered through the Florida Bar.
Wow.
It's still not enough. I need my goal is to get all 106,000 in this next.
Yes.
But last week alone, we docked over 1,800 phone calls from all over the state of Florida.
Wow.
That was just from last week. The week before, we got a little over 3,000. But, and I have my nieces work for me. I work for myself.
Beautiful.
And, sometimes it's overwhelming because when you got to be the octopus, you got to be the mama, the grandmama, the
I
big
can
sister,
sympathize.
the head of the household,
Yes.
the community leader, the humanitarian. Walter, well, I'm dragging him in this now. So Walter don't even know what's getting ready to happen on the 30th. But on the 30th, guys, the Stay Woke Show with me and Walter, we're going to be feeding the homeless.
Where?
We're feeding the homeless, and we're feeding the homeless right on the streets, right on 50th Street, right where they have migrated at, right where the city has pushed them at. They don't know. So on 50th and 26th, I've spoken with the owner of the sub gas station there, and they said, whatever you need. As soon as I walked in, first of all, I didn't even know how popular I was. I walked into the store, and the man he said, "Do you know who you are?" He says, "You miss TikTok. You miss TikTok." It's just like, you know me? He was just like, the man pulled out his phone, just like, I follow you on TikTok. And I was just like, he's like, what do you need? What do you want? You want a Subway sandwich? You need something to drink? I was just like, no, I was just wanting to know if we can use the back of your building to feed the homeless and give out the toiletries and the hygiene bags and the clothes that we collected on the 30th. So on the 30th, now let me remind y'all now, on Sundays, I go to church and praise God and stomp up a storm and speak in tongues and have to call down the Holy Ghost to keep me coming. So we're going to be feeding the homeless. I don't even have the flyer in front of me, but I'm going to put it on social media and we'll make sure we tag you in it. Danielle, we'll give Walter the information so he can get it. But yeah, we're going to be.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I want to say this. So many times we run across political figures. I will say political figures. She's the president, so it's important to make sure.
Don't even say it.
What do they say? Put some respect on my name. But so many times, and this is like the battle downtown at City Hall, is we don't get enough light or energy or events to East Tampa.
Yes.
You're right.
So
this is true.
I've observed
I
that.
would just ask that anything that in your power when you're dealing with the Latin, community of commerce, chambers of commerce, that maybe you could look to maybe doing an event, Hard Rock, somewhere in the Hard Rock area, East Tampa, Brandon. I know we are getting out of the scope, but we feel like in this part of the city, we're segregated.
You're right.
That the people,
nothing
Armature
happens in
Works,
this side.
7th Avenue,
Everybody goes there.
Seminole Heights now, if you've been following the city council, has been broken up to several. They got a West Seminole Heights, an East Seminole Heights,
North Seminole Heights, South Seminole. Seminole Heights used to be Seminole Heights.
Seminole Heights used to be just Seminole Heights, but now the Brandon community, the Riverview, the Wamama, the Ruskin, the Apollo, the East Tampa, everything on this side feels like we're not a part of the Hillsborough County community, and we don't have. I feel like we don't reach that part of our community. And just I'm a statistical guy, so we have 1.5 million people in the Tampa Bay community. 34% of those people were arrested. You specialize in immigration. I wonder how many of that was arrested were immigrants or did not have their paperwork.
Exactly.
So we are at. I feel we're not doing justice for that part of the town because they don't receive any of the benefits down at City Hall. We've been knocking on their door asking, please do something with that community. Please make them feel like they're a part of Hillsborough County. Please, and they just don't get anything. So I'm asking you personally, live on air in front of everybody, that I know, that maybe the next time that you guys do something, could you please look at doing something in East Tampa, Brandon, Riverview, somewhere on that side where people can go and feel like I can be a part of something because they're holding on a pro bono services on this side of town. Where
I think it's a fantastic idea. So now, as I've only been in Tampa 4 years, I got to preface that, literally 4 years. So the more I get to know the city and the area, the more I can kind of pivot to what makes sense, because of course downtown's comfortable for everybody because it's right there, but everything is held there. So
And
I
the
completely
gentrification.
agree.
The gentrification has driven so many black and brown people to the Claremont area, to the Brandon area, like Walt say, Valrico.
Oh, you're priced
Plant
out.
City, Dover, and even you can't even afford to rent. And now look what's happening. Like they are literally making it illegal for you to put sheds in your backyard and turning them into
Like stay.
I pause here because I pause here because I want to say this to you. You go on the news feed. Michelle said it here 4 weeks ago. How come the mayor did not use the money, or city officials did not use the money to get the tiny homes?
Yes.
Now you look 3 days ago, 4 days ago on the news clip, they just had 100 tiny homes installed.
Mm-hmm.
And who are I thought the diocese had paid for those according to what
Right.
was released there,
They were privately funded
by the Catholic Church.
by the Catholic Church.
Yes.
But I'm saying, before we put city council on here, when we were talking about divvying funds and where did they go and how come when we were targeting the homeless, we said it. Michelle said it here. How come we couldn't use the resources or network to give the homeless the tiny homes? And lo and behold, the tiny homes are here.
Did you know that the CRA for East Tampa is the richest in the country?
Wow.
We have the most money. East Tampa is a plethora of the black community, where they have alleged, Danielle, that blacks don't pay their taxes on their homes. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. If you go to Nancy Million's, who's a very dear friend of mine, I love that girl.
She's
so
amazing.
Nancy.
She's one of my Latina role models in a
Just-
public office. I'm like, you're doing a great job, girl.
Single mother, the same like all. Do you see
We
what's
know who
going
she
on?
is.
No. Do you see what single mother? Look,
Because it's a superpower.
yes, my S is on my chest. I'm sorry you sandwiched in between this. Either you gonna get it, you gonna feel it. I don't wipe about that. But East Tampa is the richest in the nation.
Wow.
The nation. We have the most money in our CRA budget. But Danielle, where's our money? The mayor keeps funneling it for her pet projects. You know, and I like Jane Castor. Jane and I used to be friends back in the days before. Let me tell you, so you can laugh. I'm the activist, Michelle Williams, that put the bounty out for George Zimmerman and made national news all over the country.
Wow.
I went to Sanford, Florida, when he shot Trayvon Martin to die. And everybody knew that. Because I was tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. That here we go again. Here we go again. And I took my stance. They dismissed it in federal court with prejudice. But here goes Mark Ober, who George Zimmerman's father, who was a retired justice, had some deep dirt on Mark Ober, who went after me. But let me tell you something. I sat in that courtroom and I said this, okay? I'm not about to do 15 seconds, 15 minutes, 15 hours, 15 days, 15 weeks, 15 months, and I sure as hell ain't finna be doing 15 years. And I walked out of the courtroom.
Wow.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me, because I'm going to stand up. God told me, when my elders came from Nigeria, when my elders came from Cuba, when my elders came from Haiti, and they sat me down and says, you're the sacrifice that God told us about. But God has you through this whole process. He has you. And let me tell you something. I have not lost anything. Anything. I have not lost anything. Even when I went through a destructive manner, my house caught on fire, I walked out of there with my life. I walked out of there with my car and the clothes on my back. And less than 30 days later, less than a week later after the fire, I got a phone call and says, there's a house waiting on you in Wine Mama. You owe nothing on it.
Wow, that's amazing. What a blessing.
but that's the good work that I've been feeding the homeless for the last 22 years in Tampa. Won't take any money from the government. It's us taking care of us.
Yes.
I have my 1.1 million on TikTok. My 34,000+
I can't believe I don't follow you on TikTok. I need to change that. Who am I missing?
So I'm using my social media platform. I put out the clarion call. Look, the Stay Woke Show, we're going to be feeding the homeless on April the 30th. And this is what I need. I need toothbrushes. I need toothpaste. I need hygiene wipes. I need socks. I need underwear. I need this. And next thing I know, the post office said, excuse me, Dr. Williams, we don't have any more space right here at this small post office on 30th and Hillsborough. You need to come get your stuff, okay?
Well, I am so excited. I want to come in. I want to bring my son.
So
we definitely want everybody to please give us a call, 813-444-9588 if you want to weigh in.
Can we take some messages? We got a ton more coming in.
Let's
off
read
Facebook.
a couple.
So we have Mr. Jeffrey Died that says, oh, Jeff, go on somewhere with that, okay? Jeffrey's actually a political candidate, and I cannot wait to help this young brother run. You know what I'm saying? To be, but somebody was asking, would there be an attorney there to talk about civil lawsuits?
Yes.
Yes. So on that Saturday, what's the date again?
So it is next Saturday, the 29th,
okay, April 29th.
from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stetson Law Campus, 1700 North.
So is
Campus
this the
Street.
freedom of speech event also?
No, we're parallel. So I coordinated that event, the one I'm talking about, and the freedom of speech. I'm coming out there to talk on my panel, and I'm going to be hopping. I'm going to be from 9 to 11.
Can't catch her.
And
Can't catch her.
I'm going to go do my panel and then go right back. And what I did, because I am, okay, I don't need, this is my personal, I don't need every single dollar in the street. I have an army of immigration colleagues, and we all share cases. I called everyone I knew in the community who I know is a good immigration attorney, and they're coming out because it doesn't need to be me. There is everyone out there. We have wonderful attorneys in this community who I know are also like passionate about serving. So I called everyone I knew. We have attorney Annie Falk Bassi, Milton Acevedo, who's coming out. I have attorney Karen Skyers, who's coming out. I have everyone I know who's a fabulous attorney coming to our event to give some pro bono services. So
you
come
should
out.
Reach out to attorney Neil, he's downtown, and attorney Ugundedi. She's
Okay.
African. Oh,
I believe I've been
that
introduced.
woman is. When you talk about know the law, I think this lady is a walking, not only history, but a walking encyclopedia when it comes to the law.
You heard it here. So she's gonna be at the freedom of speech.
Freedom.
I want to put her out, but listen, she's gonna be on the freedom of speech panel, and then she's gonna say what she needs to say. Then hit a disappearing act, and then be down there with the pro bono legal service down there at Stetson Law. But a better question that I want to ask you is, what does the future look like for you? Because, I know a lot of people in the Tampa Bay community. I speak to a lot of influential people. And, when your name comes up, a lot of other adjectives come behind it. As in, she's here, she's active, she's this, president. But, I was tasked and, to ask on air. And I kept my word that I would. What does the future look like for you? Is it political? Is it...
I've been very honest about this. I don't know. I know that I'm very... Okay, I'm just going to give a little
Let's
background.
get down to it now.
Give a little background. I was in a situation for a good 8 to 10 years where I couldn't do what I wanted. I have an amazing resume. I love everything I've done. But now is it's the moment where I am my own boss. I have a staff of 5. We're all women, we're all Latinas, we're all minorities. I have law offices in DC, New York, Miami, and Tampa.
Girl, hold on.
I don't need to be out there. I don't need to be out there. I don't need to chase every day. That's a line. That's a line every man heard.
Miami, Tampa, New York,
Newburgh, New York. So what I want to do is use my ability I'm a fully fluent in Spanish to connect with the community and give you stellar immigration services. I also want to educate the community, and right now my goal is to be the best TVLC president I can.
It's lonely at the top.
I'm trying to tell
you. Real lonely at the top.
So I don't know. I hope one day if there is an opportunity that I think I'd be a good fit, I'm all for it, but I don't have something that I have set in mind that I want to do this.
Spoken like a political figure. Spoken like, I can't give you yes or no, but let me give it to you this way. If something's presentable that fits something that I would like to do.
I'll tell you my little girl dream career. When I was a child, and still, I have always wanted to be some kind of diplomat. So someday, before I leave this earth, I will be an ambassador to do some type of role. So that is the only thing that I have clear as day. Everything else will be just serving.
I'm taking the courses now that when the Haitian diplomats and the Cuban diplomat, there was a case. Whew.
Take a moment.
In 2007, there was a police officer in Naples, Florida, that shot and killed my cousin.
I'm sorry.
He lowered him in his car along with Felipe Santos of Mexico, who was an illegal immigrant. And we never got justice. The FBI know that they did it, but they didn't have enough evidence to charge him with it. And I was so honored that I got the attention of the Mexican consulate with an email.
Wow.
And they flew in. And that was the first time I went to Mexico in 2007 to sit with the consulate. And even then, sitting amongst those elders, I was told, always let my voice be heard and always speak up for the truth and don't care who is offended by it. That's why I refuse to let my voice be muzzled. I won't bow down to the political genre that's here. I can't be bought. I'm not oppressed and I'm unmuzzled. That's why you don't see me sitting on committees. That's why you don't see me being invited to the parties. Because I won't take the money. And in 2008, when they raised that Confederate flag.
That's how long it's been out?
Yeah. I took a noose down to the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners. And I said, this is what that flag represents to me. Because when I was 9 years old in Jefferson County, Florida, I watched the Klan hang my uncle from my grandma's tree.
That's horrific.
And that flag was on the back of that truck when they drove away down that dirt road.
That's horrible.
This was being orchestrated, and this was being done right now in this momentous occasion. It didn't happen then because it wasn't time. We weren't in the right season, but now we are in the right season, and people need to understand that things happen in season. It wasn't time for women empowerment to really be surfaced to the forefront. But now that this country has gone to hell, it is time that women of all nationalities
every single
put
one.
our differences aside and understand, like I tell all of my white friends, the same destiny that you want for your children, it is entwined in the same destiny that the black women and the Latino women want for our children, where we all want freedom to reign across this nation. It is not fair for one race to think that they have the glory and the honor and the respect and to cause chaos and write laws and pass laws to just appease their race. That's not fair. Look at Mr. Sherrill, who was up in Tennessee, who said that, oh, I think we should just put lynching back on the books as a form of capital punishment.
Yeah, the audacity.
Well, I can say this, our theme lately has been women empowerment. For all the women that are productive, single mothers who are, my mother was a single mother, raised me, was productive, went on to become college educated, now is a VP of a dental organization. There are plenty of women that's in our community that listen to our show, that follow us on social media. We're so proud of you. But the message today is about uniting, about coming together to collectively put things forward to safeguard our children and our community. And Ms. Hernandez does that. She offers the immigration to safeguard that.
So I have to say, I love this theme because let me give you a quick synopsis of how I got to Tampa. I don't think I've said this publicly, but just like Michelle was sharing the home story and that situation. I got to Tampa after having to quit my dream job by text message one day to the next with a 1.5-year-old son at my lap that I flew after pressing charges against his father for being physically abusive for several years, the last in front of my son. And I said, I'll be damned if I'm a statistic. I don't care. So, I left my dream job that I quit overnight. I was in San Francisco. I hopped on an airplane with a 1.5-year-old baby in tow after pressing charges.
Shout out to Fisherman's Dwarf out there.
And I got to Miami, Florida. I borrowed my grandmother's car. God rest her soul. She was just like, take my car. Borrowed my grandma's car, picked up my mom, and drove 4.5 hours up to Tampa. I didn't know a soul. So it took an army of women to lift me up here. I have Senator Arthenia Joyner, Karen Skyers, Aaron Abel. I had the Honorable Edna Rain, a whole community of people who didn't know me, literally clothe me, give me food, toys for my son. I got here with what I had on, and I'm like, wow, I'm literally the 2% of Latinas that make up attorneys in this whole country. But, I came knocking on Tampa's door, and I really felt the love from all the women who stepped in and didn't let me fail.
And, Karen should have won that race. She just had the wrong person leading her.
Karen and I went to law school. That is my sister. I love
She should have won that race, but she just had.
I agree.
I mean, we're happy that we have Representative Driscoll in there, but but it was. I mean, it is what it is. But she should have.
I know her for a long time, and she was and still is the most qualified candidate. But I said, hey, God took you on a different path, so let's continue to blaze trails in our way. And this is how I got here. So everything that I've been able to do has been because women have believed in me, and they've uplifted me, and they did not let me just sink.
And we support that. We support, we will always stand behind women who are trying to go somewhere, trying to do something productive for our community. So many people, and me and Michelle, we go to a lot of places. So many people talk the talk, they just don't walk the walk. Their actions don't equalize what they're verbally putting out. And we see that from a politician standpoint. We have people that come in here and sell us wolf tickets, tell us things. Like she said, we can't be bought. Our journey to where we've came from has been a long, dark road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've came through different areas to get to this activist platform where we can have a voice. And not only do we have a voice, but we put our voice into action and then do things about it. If people say we need tiny homes, why isn't this being happening? Lo and behold, we speak on it and then things happen, or we go after things to make it right. But the theme in our show lately has been women empowerment. We want to continue to promote women in our community who are outstanding, who do things above and beyond, and that can be recognizable. People see you all over the time. Office in Ybor City, 8th Avenue.
I appreciate it, but I like people knowing where I come from because I get the other side. Oh, well, you're an attorney. Like, what do you know? I'm like, oh, no. My mom has never made more than $12 an hour.
She come from a real background.
I grew up in public housing. I went to 5 different elementary schools, 3 different middle schools, and I begged my mom, please let me stay in the same high school. I promise I won't do wrong. Thank God I qualified for Bright Futures, and then FAMU College of Law gave me an opportunity. So yes, I took
Graduated top 10%.
I was number 7 in my class, and I'm very proud of that. And FAMU gave me the ticket to all the opportunities I had. I got recruited from my Intel job from Florida A&M University because they went looking for diversity, and that just opened the door to everything that I've been able to do. So I'm like, you don't have to come from this perfect cookie cutter. I like talking to middle school girls because that's the hardest age. That's where I struggled. Mm-hmm. I am not a perfect person. My God, my mom would be on the show and tell you she got tattoos at 12. Yes, I did. I showed up one day all tattooed, and my mom was like, oh my God. So I
got 29, so
yeah, I was 12, and at 14 I had tattoos by 16. But you know what? That's that age that I look to take mentees, and I try to talk to girls girls that have their moms working the fields. I talk to judges all the time who tell me, hey, these are the struggles that I see the women's kids in court, and these are their struggles. So it's good to know, so I could kind of do whatever I can. So I'm one person, but I want to work with as many groups as I can in Tampa Bay. And it is not, I will say, I don't have a political agenda. I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. Right now, I just want to use my health, my privilege to make a difference and do what I can and connect with activists like you guys. I'm so blessed and thankful to be joining you here today after listening to just both of your stories. I'm like, wow.
I want to give a shout out this morning, Walt and Danielle. I want to say I stopped in this morning to just grab me a cool drink this morning. And when I walked into the sub gas station, I seen this beautiful black man and this beautiful black woman behind in the kitchen, and all I smelled was collard greens and smelled macaroni and cheese. But what caught my eye was this red velvet cake and banana pudding. So I want to give a shout out to Miss Lily Mays this morning right there on 50th Street, 50th and 26th Street. If y'all ever want some good macaroni and cheese and some collard greens and a home cooked Southern meal, man, y'all better run over there to Miss Lily Mays. And I also want to let me give you guys an update, because you know that I have talked about Terrence being murdered by the former deputy of Naples County, Florida, at the Collier County Sheriff's Office. And I want to continue to say thank you to Tyler Perry. I met Tyler Perry. I got his attention by my Facebook post regarding Terrence, and Tyler Perry did something about it. He put it on Discovery ID TV for me, where I was featured also there. And I just want to say thank you, because now that he has upped the reward to $500,000 to find out who killed Felipe, well, for the person to come forward to say they have real information to say that Steve Calkins murdered these two gentlemen, Terrence and Felipe. I just want to say a warm welcome to Tyler Perry, who's always standing up for everybody. I just want to say thank you.
I'm really sorry you went through that. I'm going to look that up just to inform myself. It's a very traumatic event. And
2007. And think about it, like both of these were captured on video. He took both of the boys to the same Shell gas station and abducted them.
That's horrific.
Last person seen with them. You know how they say, some serial killers keep trophies?
Yes.
Look at the case.
I'm going to look it up. That's startling.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I know we're getting close to the end. I thank everybody for tuning in. I thank everybody for watching on YouTube. I thank for all the media that we're getting, the questions, the hearts, the love, all of, Mrs. Hernandez's fans. We want to continue to answer what the people want to see. If there's somebody on the show that you want to see, somebody that has a strong backing in our community, who does things for our community, who doesn't just talk about it but puts the action out there, email us, give us a text, reach out to us. We'll find a way to get them on the show. We will deliver for you. And we are so honored today to have Ms. Hernandez on here. We admire all the things that she does in our community, and we're just so proud of her. We're so proud of her that, this is an example that we will want everybody's daughter to follow. Somebody who has beat the odds, has came to Tampa with little to nothing on her back, had a child as well, brought him, he was uplifted out of his comfort zone, and now she's made a living showing that if she can make it, if she can use her best, anybody can make it. And we're just so proud. We're so honored to have you on the show. You're probably going to see her 1,000 more times. She's everywhere. So
yeah, we definitely want to keep giving her our platform. So our platform is your platform.
If I can do anything for everyone, please reach out. Find me on the Tampa Bay Latin Chamber. If the chamber can be involved in anything, or if I can, I love being a bridge, because I don't need to be the superhero, but I can connect you to somebody who knows how to help you. So just reach out.
And I just want to answer one question that came in on social media. I did see you. I was asked what are the toiletries that we need. We are lacking deodorant. We need deodorant for men and women. Okay, so we need deodorant. So we're going to need about maybe 25 to 35 for men and 25 to 35 for women. And I always tell people, y'all know me, I am a Dollar Tree guru.
Where can they drop it off? Where can people drop off their donation?
Okay, you can meet us on the corner of 50th and 26th Street on Sunday at, I want to safely say, I think I said 2:30, at 2:30 on the 30th. We're going to be there with the tables, the chairs, the tents, the food. So we're not just feeding the homeless. Anyone from that Grant Park, Highland Pines area, if you know any seniors that are in that area, please reach out to us so we can make sure that we actually get the food, a food tray over to the seniors on that day. And those of you who have been following me on social media since Facebook came in its existence, you all know that I walk the walk and talk the talk. I'm not just doing this for show and tell. I've been feeding the homeless for over 20 plus years. It started with me and my sister. She took some health issues, but guess what? Big sister just continued to pull everything up to par. So guess what? I'm still feeding the homeless 20 something plus years later. And if you go over to the Salvation Army over on Florida Avenue, where in 2009, I took a mortgage out on my house and redid the kitchen because the equipment was bad in the Salvation Army. And that's where I used to cook there every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Thank you for that.
We would have thousands of people. I'm talking about politicians would come. People would come from across the bay. And I didn't feed them just no any food. I'm talking, if I ate steak, the homeless going to eat steak. If I'm eating collard greens, macaroni, and cheese, that's what they're eating. This is where this city and this state has gone wrong. This is where this country has gone wrong. Because God says that we must take care of the babies, the widow, the fools, and the homeless. And if we do that in that order, we'll be the real winners. Again, y'all, thank you all so much for another great episode of Stay Woke. I'm Dr. Michelle Williams with Mr. Walter Dunn and the Honorable Attorney Danielle Hernandez. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Stay blessed.
And stay woke.
Most important.
Gotta stay woke. Listen up to Dr. Michelle Williams and Walter Dunn show. Stay woke. Listen up to Dr. Michelle.